Hello, beautiful people of the fragrance community. Mike here with iSMELL. Hope this video is finding you well. For those of y'all who are possibly tuning in for the first time, iSMELL is in fact a channel dedicated to all things fragrance related, but most importantly, it's about connecting with like-minded individuals. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and beg for subscribers. What I am going to do is say that I genuinely feel like we're building something special over here and that it would be an absolute honor if you joined us along in that journey. So, with that out of the way, the formalities are now out of the way. Let's go ahead and pivot into today's video. Recently, the homie Rayzor Ramon the Barber created a tag video. The concept of this tag video was to compile a list of fragrances which work well with hoodies. He forwarded me over this tag. As always, the challenge is accepted, brother. Today, we're going to be discussing 5 fragrances, all of which I feel are absolute bangers for hoodie season. We have a ton of fragrances to get through in this video. I'll see y'all on the other side of the intro. So I tend to think of hoodies in a similar fashion as I would a dumb reach fragrance. A dumb reach fragrance is something that you reach for when you don't want to think about it. Also, fragrances are similar to hoodies in the sense that they both not only enhance your outwardly personal appearance, but they provide comfort. I don't want to get too philosophical or deep about it, but I do think this is a cool concept, and I wanted to share that because I did try to pick fragrances which coincided with this concept of hoodie season. I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's jump into this first fragrance. The first fragrance that I'm gonna talk about has been making its rounds within the community for at least several years now, and for good reason. It comes from the very popular Middle Eastern house of Armaf, and it's none other than Armaf Craze. Okay, so what many people are gonna find appealing about Armaf Craze is the $25 price proposition. What many people are gonna find appalling about this fragrance is the notion that a $25 fragrance would ever be compared or ever come close to the $400 niche fragrance that this fragrance means to emulate, in that case, it being Pegasus by Parfums de Marly. I have in fact spent time with both of those fragrances, and I can confirm that in the air they smell almost indistinguishable. To the untrained nose, there is going to be no noticeable difference. To the trained nose, however, there is a noticeable difference, as is the case with many Armaf fragrances, and that is going to be the opening. The opening of this fragrances does in fact come across more metallic, almost inky in a way. The notable notes on Armaf Craze is going to be that bitter almond note, which comes across almost like a cherry. This is a very good smelling fragrance, you guys. You're also going to get heliotrope, which is a white floral creamy note, and there is going to be a ton of vanilla as well as amber to warm this fragrance up. Overall, you're going to get a mildly sweet, bitter almond fragrance with warm floral and vanillic undertones. If you can get past this presentation, I do understand that this is not the best looking presentation. What you will be getting is a long lasting beast mode projection fragrance that works very well for cold weather. At the price point of $25 for 100 milliliters of an EDP, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better fragrance for hoodie season. At the number 1 spot, we're talking about Armaf Craze. Okay, so regardless of season, regardless of scenario, blue fragrances are something that I keep in my rotation all year around, and for good reason. Blue fragrances, similar to hoodies, are extremely functional. They are both something you reach for when you don't want to think about it, a grab and go scenario. The next fragrance we're going to talk about today is in fact a blue fragrance. It comes from the house of Salvatore Ferragamo, and it's none other than Acqua Essenziale Blue. So I do want to give credit where credit is due. We're going to keep it a buck here on iSMELL. I had never heard about this fragrance until I heard Ross from TLTG Reviews hyping this fragrance up.
This is my favorite blue fragrance, regardless of price. I'll take this over Versace Dylan Blue and Bleu de Chanel every single time.
I'm going to go on record to state that I do not enjoy Acqua Essenziale Blue more than I enjoy Bleu de Chanel, the EDP specifically, but I do enjoy Acqua Essenziale Blue quite a bit more versus Dylan Blue. What you are going to get on this fragrance is a citrus accord comprised of lemon and bergamot. You're going to get a healthy dose of lavender. There will also be benzoin as well as tonka bean present. For that reason, for that benzoin, tonka bean, and lavender note, this is going to rank as one of the more dense blue fragrance options, which makes it an awesome option as it relates to cold weather and hoodie season. A 3.4 ounce tester of this fragrance is going to run you right around the $30 to $40 price point, and at that price point, it's going to be an absolute steal. I can tell you, I can guarantee you, this fragrance is a good blue fragrance option for cold weather. At the number 2 spot today, Aqua Essenzial Blue. So one of the major appeals of hoodies is going to be that comfort factor, which just so happens to be one of the major appeals of fragrances as well. The third fragrance we're going to talk about is a fragrance scent profile that I personally find to be extremely comforting. It comes from the house of Mont Blanc, and it's none other than Mont Blanc Individual. This fragrance is no stranger to the community. If this fragrance was a Pokemon, it would be the evolved form of Yup Om, with the final evolution being Original Santal from Creed. There's going to be about 1 million listed notes on this fragrance. To my nose, what I pick up on is a healthy dose of raspberry, mint, sandalwood, as well as juniper berries. If I was to classify this fragrance in a few words, I would say it was a mildly sweet but also minty, fresh and clean fragrance which sits on a bed of woody spiciness. You get a little bit of everything with this fragrance. The overall demeanor of this fragrance, in my opinion, is going to be casual. It's a fragrance you're going to wear just lounging around the house in a hoodie. It's a fragrance that you're going to reach for when you don't want to reach for your higher end designers or niche fragrances. There are rumors about this fragrance being discontinued. I can't speak to that. There seems to be a gratuitous amount of bottles of Mont Blanc Individual currently in the market. So I don't know. I can't speak to whether it's discontinued or not. You can get a full-size bottle for around the $40 price point, and at that price point, again, as is the case with every fragrance that I talk about today, it's going to be an absolute steal. The fragrance at the number 3 spot today, a fragrance that I feel is extremely comforting, even more so when you're wearing a hoodie, Mont Blanc Individual. Okay, so the fragrance at the number 4 spot today is going to be, out of all the fragrances that I showcased today, the one that I'm currently getting the most wear out of. I will also be piggybacking off of both Rayzor Ramon the Barber and Stack's review, as both of them showcased coffee-centric scent profiles. It just so happens that a coffee-centric scent profile does in fact work very well with a hoodie. You can choose Salvatore Ferragamo's Umo, you can choose Rochas Man, you can choose Boss Bottle Private Accord, any gourmand you like. In this case, I will be showcasing the cheapy hypebeast, otherwise known as Halloween Man X. So Halloween Man X is going to be one of those inviting, edible, playful fragrances, and it's for that reason it's going to work very well when you're lounging around the house with that significant other, cuddling up, and you want her to eat you up like a snack. This is going to be a Tonka bomb from head to toe, but the accord that is synonymous with Halloween Man X is going to be a blackjack accord. That blackjack accord consists of coffee, whiskey, and leather. If you like the idea of wearing a spiced cappuccino garnished with whiskey, this fragrance is going to be right up your alley. 4.2 ounces of this fragrance is going to rank right around that $40 price point. As with all the fragrances, that's an excellent price point. There's a good reason why this fragrance is getting hyped. You get good performance, an awesome smell, compliment factor is high, longevity is good. At the number 4 spot, a fragrance that works very well with the hoodie, a coffee-centric scent profile, Halloween Man X. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to be talking about a fragrance coming from a Spanish house notorious for its quality. Not a ton of people talk about this fragrance, and for this reason, I wanted to showcase it because it's somewhat of a sleeper. It comes from the house of Mandarina Duck, and the fragrance is called Black. So this is going to be another Tonka bomb type fragrance. So at first glance, it's going to share some similarities to a fragrance like Halloween Man X, but there are noticeable differences up top. Mandarina Duck Black is going to be way more bright and citrusy, and there are going to be noticeable differences in the dry down. This one contains vanilla, and it's going to be far more creamy than Halloween Man X, for example. Top notes on this fragrance are going to include bergamot and tangerine. The mid is going to contain notes of tonka bean, and the notable notes in the base is going to be vanilla. This fragrance works perfect for a hoodie. It's going to be perfect for when you're just hanging around the house with friends and family with a hoodie in a casual setting. I do believe this fragrance is versatile to be worn during the day or at night. I can't speak to the price of this fragrance as I picked this one up for $20 in a private sale. Safe to say I have no regrets. I really do thoroughly enjoy this fragrance. It's It's one of the fragrances that I get the most wear out of all my fall scents. For the 5th spot, last but not least, the fragrance we're talking about works well great with the Hoodie Mandarina Duck Black. All right, you guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. Those are 5 fragrances, all of which I feel are absolute bangers for hoodie season. If you enjoy fragrance-related content, if you found value in this video specifically, please do consider subscribing. It takes 2 seconds. Just click the button. It's free dollars. It doesn't cost you anything. I certainly do appreciate it. I want to forward this tag on over to a couple people. Those people include Twilly's 2 Cents as well as House of Colossus. I would be interested to know which fragrances you reach for during hoodie season. We have a ton of exciting content coming down the pipe, so please do make sure you stay tuned. Until next time, you guys, y'all take care. Stay safe. Bye.